Chapter 9. The Moving Target. The silence of my bedroom was shattered at 3 a.m. I always sleep with my phone on silent, but it was like an invisible line between Orlando and me. The blue light of my screen illuminating the ceiling, stabbing my eyes, and triggering a sudden sickening wave of dizziness, a lingering, unwelcome reminder of the concussion I was still recovering from. It was him. Same hour, same fractured tone, same scared Orlando reaching out through the dark. "Are you awake?" the text read. And then before I could type, "I just need to know you're there." I answered immediately a simple, "I'm here always." And I could almost feel the rush of relief on the other end of the line. I've always offered this kind of support. I'm the type of woman who would do anything, go anywhere, and carry any burden for someone I loved. But in the past, those efforts felt wasted. I was a giver who gave until I was hollow, only to find that my being there was taken for granted. With Orlando, it was different. He didn't just take my support, he marveled at it. He thanked me for the peace I gave him as if I were handing him a miracle. I had never felt so deeply appreciated for simply existing in someone's corner. And because he was such a generous, wonderful man, an amazing, romantic lover who fanned my flame, I was more than happy to lovingly answer every bid for attention, no matter how late the hour. "Another bad dream?" "Yes," he answered instantly. "Do you want to talk about it?" "No, thanks. Let's try to get some more sleep. The chores of the morning will be upon us in no time." "Okay, handsome. I will fall back asleep thinking of you." "I wish I was in your arms right now." I felt the same, a physical ache that mimicked the throb of my head. "I'll meet you in our dreams." I pulled the blankets and pillows tightly close to me, imagining I was in Orlando's embrace and drifting back into a restless, fragmented sleep. As Orlando's birthday approached, the moving target of his celebration plans began to shift at a dizzying pace. He told me weeks prior, his voice heavy with exhaustion, "The only thing I want is to shut the world out. I want to hibernate in your little loft bedroom for a day or two. Just you in my arms." But complicated doesn't rest for birthdays. Karen was planning something, an unprecedented gesture that caught him off guard. The good kid in him, the one who didn't want to cause a scene, had spent too many birthdays feeling unseen. He felt he had to make Karen's plans his priority. Orlando had driven an hour to meet me for lunch. "I have to change the plan for my birthday, Delilah," he told me, the hurt in his eyes mirroring the frustration in mine. "I'm so sorry. I promise I'll make it up to you." In the past, this would have sparked a forest fire of resentment. But with Orlando, my divine feminine felt safe. "It's your birthday," I said softly, touching his cheek. "I will do as you wish." First, I was strictly not invited. The not allowed on the property rule was a cold slap in the face reminder. Then, in an erratic shift, Karen sent word through Orlando that I was not only welcome, but should bring my friends. I saw right through it. I knew any event with Karen's name on it would be laced with drama. I promised I wouldn't subject my friends to it. I would rather walk into that lion's den alone. Only a day later, Orlando called, his voice strained. I was uninvited again. He hated letting me down, but he was a man exhausted from being on the front lines of a battle with his past. "I'm going to go to the party, I guess," he told me, his hurt evident in his voice. "I am just hoping she sees how sad I look that you were not there." My heart broke. He wasn't the rugged, strong, confident man that I knew so well. In that moment, he was a 4-year-old boy in a cold house, desperate to be seen by a parent who wasn't looking. The house itself felt like an enemy camp. In the end, I was invited. As I walked through, my professional eye couldn't help but deconstruct the failures. It was a masterclass in how layout can destroy connection. The rooms were all odd angles in a way that left confusion and not flow. Bedrooms all clustered together, with the backs of the couches turned away from the kitchen. It was designed to keep people isolated, not together. Worst of all, Karen had orchestrated some decor updates recently. She had a big, beautiful beam in the ceiling of the living room and decided to paint it white, suffocating the natural grain of the wood. When she asked me what I thought, I couldn't say the truth. I also cannot say untrue things, so I simply changed the subject. The house smelled intensely of her perfume, a cloying, heavy scent that hit my concussion sensitive senses. Nausea rolled over me, and I had to blink and swallow, fighting to stay upright as I watched Orlando navigate the crowd. Whenever he caught sight of Karen, I watched him physically shrink, his shoulders hunching as he morphed back into a good kid, terrified of the shrapnel of his mother's moods or coldness. Midway through the evening, Orlando found me and I retreated to the washroom. He had been near me for most of the night, and if we were separated for any reason, he was back at my side almost immediately. His gaze was a sudden, sharp focus. He grabbed my hand and pulled me into a quiet, shadowed back corner of the deck at the back of the house. The moment he closed the door, the urgency was primal. He pushed me against the wall, his hands possessive, his breath rushed, frantic. "Promise me," he pleaded, his voice a broken rasp. "Promise me again, Delilah. Don't give up on me. Don't let this world push you out of my life." "I'm not going anywhere," I whispered. In that dark corner, the party inside ceased to exist. He begged for the one thing I was more than willing to give: my loyalty. By the time we emerged, the heat of our passion outside made the reality of the living room inside feel sterile and cold. I checked my phone and saw a message from my friend Maria. "So this party you're at?" It was an excuse for Karen to invite her beau around. She thought that if his friends were there tonight, he might go too. But he's at this football game that we're at. Jeez. I was wondering who all these people were. Orlando had never talked about any of them. I had just figured they were Karen's friends. I didn't realize the common thread of her invite list was her boyfriend or her ex-boyfriend. I had lost track of whether they were together or not on any given day. I didn't share this message with Orlando. Coming from me, the truth would sound like I was pushing a petty agenda. I didn't want to shatter the illusion that he was being celebrated. I only wanted to protect his heart from the cold reality of her calculating nature. Orlando walked me to my car, spinning me around to face him in the cool night air. He kissed my forehead and held me against his chest for what felt like either seconds or hours. Thank you for being here tonight. I love you, babe. Happy birthday, handsome. You deserve all the best things in the world. As I drove away, opening my window to let the night air soothe my head, I looked at the moon. I knew he was still stuck in that house, but I felt his heart in the car with me. I could feel his heart in my heart.